Hello, welcome. Welcome back to the conservatory. Just give it a moment or two to see if anyone's going to join me live this morning. So it's another Monday morning. Hi, Kathy. I thought it'd be you. Lovely to see you. So here we are. If you're watching this live, Monday morning, start of another week, and I've been thinking about showing up, getting visible. You may have noticed that over the weekend, I changed the name very slightly of my business page here on Facebook from Blended Therapy to Helen Davis, Blended Therapy. And this reflects another change I made some months ago when I changed the picture on the page from being my logo to being a photograph of myself. And that was prompted by a conversation with a coach I work with about getting visible. And it feels at the moment that this is a really big thing, not just for me, but for a lot of people. Showing up and speaking our truth. So continuing on the theme I've been talking about a lot recently, this idea of whether we're moving forwards or going back to our new normality. For me, part of the idea of moving forwards is becoming more, I was about to say comfortable with, but that's not what I mean. Becoming more prepared or determined even to show up as who we really are, to be our true self, to speak our truth. And it's not always easy. And in order to do it, we need to have worked out who we are and what our truth is, at least some of it, to get there. And anyone who's watching this who has known me for more than 8 years or so will know that in my previous career, I spent a lot of my time talking in public. I had a business career, I stood on platforms, I talked to conferences of several hundred people. I presented ideas and data to forecasts to small groups of senior executives. And it might have looked as if I was very good and very comfortable at showing up and being visible. But the truth was, I absolutely wasn't, because I wasn't showing up as myself in that situation. I was showing up as this persona that I had created over a couple of decades of being an expert in my area and my field. And I was happy to step up and talk about my field of expertise because I was confident I knew what I was talking about there. But if I was ever asked something more, hi Bradley, lovely to see you. If I was ever asked something more personal, by which I don't mean, inappropriate personal questions, just about my opinions rather than the facts, inside I used to go into a flat spin because I wasn't able to be vulnerable, to show up, to be who I really was in public. And that's a huge part of what I've learned over the last 8 years or so, during which time my life has changed beyond recognition. And the process of creating my own personal yoga practice, as opposed to just going to a class once a week and then going on to train to teach yoga and learning about what yoga is, beyond being on a mat and moving in a specific way. And the process of training, well, first working with and then training as a hypnotherapist. And all the other work that I've been doing around that, the reading, the courses, the self-reflection, all of these things have brought me to the point where I am now, where I am much more prepared to sit up, stand up and say, this is who I am. This is what I have to offer. So whether you have got a message that you want to get out there to other people, a business that you're building that can help people, or whether you are simply, and that's not downplaying it, I assure you, showing up in your own life with your own family, your own friends, and talking about the things that matter to you. I invite you, as we move forward into this new normal, to see where you can show up as yourself a little bit more. Because what I've found is when we have the courage to be honest about what we believe, what we feel, how we perceive life, it's amazing how many people actually are either really interested to know or to know more, or have a similar approach themselves. And if they don't, that's fine. It's not about making anyone else think differently. It's about being true to ourselves. So for me, this little tiny step of adding my name to my business page name is another little symbol of me taking another step forward to being more visible. The much scarier thing is to try and really take my message and my videos further out there into the Facebook world and beyond. What does it look like for you? What have you learned about showing up and being visible, being in your truth over the past few months? And what changes, if any, is that going to bring to your life moving forward? Do share in a comment afterwards if you feel moved to. I'd love to hear from you. And meanwhile, what you're here for, I invite you to take all of those thoughts and let them go. And anything that you need to hold on to will settle and do whatever it's here to do. But meanwhile, find your feet. Feel that connection of your feet to the ground, your sitting bones resting down. Tune into your breath. And as you feel your body resting down with gravity into the earth beneath, maybe you start to feel a connection from the feet through the legs, which are alive and awake, up to the sitting bones and the hips, so that the spine can release a little, soften the base, and maybe find a little bit of lift, a little bit of movement. And if you don't feel any of that, don't worry about it at all. Simply sit and trust. And if you haven't already, let your eyes close gently, or gently focus your gaze, soften your gaze, resting your eyes downwards. And turn your attention to your breath. Being with the rhythm of your breath as it's moving through your body right now. And if it feels helpful, bring a hand to your heart. And as you continue to breathe, watching the movement of your breath, imagine all the busyness in your head, those thoughts swirling around, all the ideas, all the little things that you want to remember. Just for now, imagine letting go of them. And let that whole moving swirling mass of busyness rest down from your brain, down through your head, past your eyes and your eyebrow centre, past your nose, past your lips, your jaw, your chin, down past your throat, past your collarbones, until it comes to rest in that place, in the centre of your body at heart height, your heart centre. And allow all that activity to rest there, held, contained, supported. Giving it permission for just a few minutes to rest. And as each breath comes in, allow it to fill that heart centre with light and love and warmth and energy. And as each breath finds its way out, allow it to simply release any energy, any feelings, any thoughts that are no longer helpful. Breathing in the light and love and warmth. Breathing out that which is no longer needed. And as you sit with the breath, finding its way in and out, maybe you start to notice at the top of each inhalation a little space, a pause, a moment of stillness before the breath turns and finds its way out. And at the bottom of each exhalation, a pause, small space, a moment of stillness before the next breath easily and gently finds its way in. And if it feels right to you, maybe you can rest in those little pauses at the top and the bottom of the breath. In that space, not holding your breath or restraining it in any way, simply noticing if those spaces are visible to you. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you for joining me. If you're a member of my Making Space group, I will see you at the end of the week on Friday for another practice to share with you, and no doubt before then as well. If you'd like to find out about the group, then I'll put a link in the notes with this video, and we'd love to see you there. Take care, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.